There are a lot of those stories.
Oh man, I'm gonna have one of those.
I'm certainly not going to share the majority of them
All right,
on a
so
live
good.
audience. I'm telling you that now.
All right, well, so that you know, we're live now. We just came live,
All
so
right.
let's go, people. So here we're in another day, another beautiful day, sitting here at the lab. We want to welcome you all to another day in the lab with my partner, Tyler Holloway. My partner, Drew Swirsky's on the move right now because of school system, and you did just go home last minute because she's got to take care of the kids, family first always. And
Oh,
yours truly here, Eric Quadros. And today we have the privilege and honor of having Randy Baldwin from Home Service Doctors. So welcome, Randy.
thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm honored.
So Randy, we're ready to dive in, man. We're excited
All
to
right.
have you here today. And basically, give us a scoop on Home Service Doctors. What do you guys do? How do you operate? Things like that. What do we need to know about you guys?
Well, we're a plumbing, heating, cooling company located in Northern Virginia, so right outside of DC. We serve the residential market for repair and replacement. Been doing it for about 15 years. I am surrounded by some of the best people in the industry because they have done a really good job of making me look like I know what I'm doing. Weren't for them, I don't know what in the world I would do.
So listen, I really appreciate the fact that you give credit to the people in your organization. And I would like for our audience to know that, first of all, you're a veteran. So thank you for your service.
Thank
There he
you.
is. Drew's coming in. Drew's coming in. All right. See? And what we want everybody to know is that, obviously you're a veteran, right? You're a CB.
Yes,
And for those that do not know
yes,
what a
sir.
CB is, I mean, I'm gonna tell you right now. I remember being deployed in Iraq and Afghanistan, and CBs will come and build cities, literally in like a few days. I mean, they're
Yeah.
I mean, if you think of a B, they work fast. CBs are incredible. So it's a great unit in the United States Navy, and you come from that background. So there's a lot of principles and things that you learn in that you have brought into home service doctors, and that's why you have amazing people because you have been able to implement those. So tell us a little bit about how that transition went, right? From your time in the Navy to the time that you almost killed yourself, doing electricity for your dad, and
I
to
like how
where
you
you
had
are
to
now.
specify which
Which
time you
time I
almost
almost died.
died.
Right. I
Yeah.
appreciate the clarity.
All right. So Randy, we're all ears, man.
Well, the time that I almost died, it actually chronologically came first. I was a young man. I was helping my dad, around the house. We had built a shed out behind the thing, and a buddy of mine and myself were told we couldn't go out. Like, we were around 15, 16, whatever we were. We couldn't go out until we had finished the, stuff that my daddy gave us to do. So he wired the stuff up underneath the house into one of the boxes, and I wired it up in the panel box in the barn because I'm a guy. I can fix just about anything, put my hands on. And he wired something up underneath the house wrong. And my dad had a old timey one of the circular saws. It was a skill saw, so it had a metal case. Years ago, they were made that way. And evidently, the grounding in the saw was in the case itself. So I reached down to pick up the saw just to kind of make sure that we had done everything right. And my hand locked around the saw. I couldn't drop it. Like I couldn't let it go. He had wired the ground up hot. And when I picked the saw up, it started just eating me up. So I yelled, like, turn the electricity off. I don't know what the heck I yelled. I yelled something. And I fell over as it, kept, because I started to like twitch and what have you. And it come out of the wall. And like, I don't know what I would have done if it had been on an extension cord because it would have just sit there and chewed me. I don't know what would have happened. Thank God I don't have to figure that out. But I talked to my dad later that day, and he's like, well, and kind of what you alluded to, if you make a mistake as an electrician, that's what happens. If you're making a mistake as a plumber, you get dirty, you may get wet, but it all ends in a shower and you're fine. And I'm a plumber today because of that experience.
That's crazy, but that's awesome too, though.
I got into plumbing really young. I was a knucklehead. I made just about every bad decision a person can make. I was introduced to the trades at about 15. Got into the trainee part of plumbing and doing all that. A few years later, my girlfriend slash future wife ended up getting pregnant. I needed a steady job. Where I was from, the job market wasn't great. I reached out to my Uncle Sam. He gave me a job with a pay on the 1st and the 15th. Pardon? Uh, and just luck of the draw out of all of that, I ended up getting assigned to a construction battalion. And I ended up doing plumbing, heating, and cooling in the Navy. And, some of what you're talking about, building strong back cities, things like that, going downrange, doing whatever needed to be done. And then when I got my shore duty, I was stationed in DC. I was at a CBU in Anacostia. And as my time to, re-enlist the second time come around, I was like, you know what, I don't think I want to do this anymore. I think I'm gonna make a pitch for it in the civilian world. DC is a phenomenal market. There's so much money. There's so much federal government. There's so much. We're not recession proof, but we're recession resistant. There's a lot of business that, happens here just because the federal government, and have your opinion on this, but federal government never seems to run out of money. And it just makes for a good market to work in. So I separated from the Navy in '99. Got my first job at one of the largest plumbing companies around. I did a very good job for them. 6 years into that, decided, you know what, I think I can do this for myself. I was kind of naive about what it took to run a business, to be perfectly honest. But I'd become resolute that I could do it, and I could do it better than, and life has taught me a lot of valuable lessons since then, to say the least.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Ty?
Hey, real quick, Randy. First off, I didn't know that before we started. When I went to Afghanistan in 2012, we fell in on a CB unit that was leaving as an Army unit, right? And who thought that all their stuff was getting decommissioned. So they'd taken everything out of the MRAPs and everything else. And we're like, oh, so somebody's falling in on us. Well, here's all the radios and stuff. Good luck. I learned a lot about the CBs and how much they do and how much they can accomplish. So right there with you, man, that's awesome. And my question is, between that and your experience in business so far, what are the best lessons you've learned about being adaptable and rolling with the punches?
Well, obviously, in any time you're downrange, I guess in business period, but downrange especially, you've got to be able to pivot and pivot fast because, stuff happens in an instant that, changes your day. The business portion of it, obviously the current climate, the current situation, really brings about a lot of, usable points from back then and kind of how to be fluid. A lot of my leadership and in the business or prior military, I guess, because birds of a feather, I don't know what drives it. The ability to be able to at a moment go 180 degrees from where you were, I definitely learned that and learned it better in the service. But the current climate, you have to change. And I think more than what it taught me about how to pivot, it taught me that it was necessary because some of my colleagues, and as much as I try to reach out to them, we've always done it this way. I get that, but it just won't work right now in the current, situation. And they're struggling almost maybe to the point of not being able to, kind of get themselves out of it because they're not willing to do 180 degrees and back azimuth out of it, and come back. And obviously you guys get what I'm saying. Just the necessity sometimes that you have to do that as much as how to do it, just an awareness that it has to be done.
No, absolutely agree with you. Oh, go ahead, Ty. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say, I appreciate it. And I would love to know, because you talked about pivoting, you talked about shifting your business and what a great team you have. So what are you and your team doing to take really good care of your customers and clients right now, knowing that we're in a weird environment and a lot's changed? So how are you protecting everybody's health? And because obviously you're essential and you guys are going into people's houses or going by people's houses. So can you tell us a little bit about how that's changed your business and how you help make sure that your customers are well taken care of?
Sure. One of I think the finest lines or the most difficult parts about the current situation for me and us as a business is obviously we're deemed essential. And I get the reason why we are. And I appreciate the fact that we are. But what happens is we're essential. So we don't have to be, but we are open. We need to be open for the public. But what happens is, the fear, the anxiety about, exposure to strangers and other people in your homes have driven people to really like shut down and hermit away. And I get it. I'm not arguing, that it's necessary or that they do it, but I don't know a better word, but it sucks because we're essential. We're trying to be there and be helpful, but people don't want you in their homes because maybe, you've been exposed or, the fear that's there. So it's hard to run a business for people that need our services round the clock, when it's 100 degrees in your house or, there's water dripping out of your ceiling, but also getting rid of the fear of having a stranger in your home at this time. To speak even further than that, another thing that's extremely difficult for me as a business owner, and I think for a lot of business owners that do what I do, I've talked to numerous ones, is we have products and services that improve your air quality, the amount of bacteria and virus that are in the air, that are on surfaces in your home. We have all that technology, and how to get that out into the market to try and help without seeming predatory. In other words, obviously we do this for a living, we do it for a profit, and we want to do it for everybody. But we don't want it to come across as, I guess predatory is the best word I can come up with, trying to take advantage of the situation we find ourselves in. So the balance of, hey, we're here to help. We've got products and services that will do that. But I also don't want you to feel like we're trying to take advantage of a pandemic to milk money from them. So, trying to make sure you get the right message, trying to make sure you're taking the right steps so that people obviously feel consumer confidence with having you in the home. It's a lot. It is, because people are scared and have every right to be. How you feel, no one else can argue. How do I make sure you understand that what we as a business are trying to do and offer and be and help is because we genuinely want to help, not because we want to line our pockets because you're scared. Make sense?
Oh, absolutely. And it sounds like you're really taking time not only to have that top of mind, but also training people to just have common sense and care, and still don't miss the opportunity, right? I mean, part of being in business is really knowing what the market of the moment is, and then also knowing how to, continuously communicate with your audience in a way that they want to be communicated to, right? So, kudos to you, one, and two, kudos to your people as well for being aware that they can't be deaf to the reality of what's going on in business and in the world currently. But at the same time, I'd encourage you, at least from our perspective, to take advantage of that opportunity, because true business owners, at least our advice to them is, be aware, and at the same time, do not miss the opportunity to contribute through your services, because you are changing lives by offering those. So good on you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So Drew, you on?
Yeah, I'm here. Hey Randy, sorry I'm late.
No, man, no problem. You got to take care of your family.
Yeah. No comment. So,
they told me it was like an impromptu thing for your
for the school, but you believe me when you say you got to take care of your family. I've been thinking about packing up for a couple of weeks now. Making my own show on the road, to be honest with you, man.
Right.
Hey,
so me time.
I know you did a stint in the Navy. Some of the stuff that you learned there, or some of the things that the disciplines and things like that, did you take any of those with you into running your own business, or the way that you manage people, or the way that you hire or fire?
Without a doubt. And kind of some of the stuff I alluded to, I don't want to go too deep into all the mistakes and bad choices I made as a kid, but I made a lot of them. I do everything to the nth degree, and even bad choices. And I had a child on the way. I was 19. I had, no education. I'm have a ninth grade education. I made a lot of bad choices, so we'll go past that. I needed the discipline. I needed I don't know of another way to put it. I needed the kick in the butt. I absolutely needed somebody to let me know, well, don't owe you nothing, and it ain't coming easy, and that there are a lot worse things than, you know, getting up 8 to 5 and working and being tired when you come home. There are way, way, way worse things than that. So perspective, as much as anything. How to lead people, absolutely, because I mean, you know, a couple of you guys, and I don't know about you, Drew, I know the other two, you know, did time in service, and you absolutely 100% remember a person, one of your leaders that you absolutely admired, that you wanted to be just like. And you also remember at least one, probably more than one if you're, you know, that absolutely never will I do those types of things. So it gave me a very good perspective in a short window. So I was 6 years, but it gave me a very good perspective in 6 years of there are really, really good, sound, fundamental ways to lead and motivate and get people excited and give them ownership of their thing. And there are ways to please don't ever do that to a human because they do not respond well. You know, like people that when they tell you something and you don't get it or you don't, and they say it louder, nobody listens when you start to yell. But I used to have a platoon commander that if he said it and you didn't he just said it louder. He yelled, what? That doesn't make any sense. It's not the language I don't understand. It's the volume. That's where I'm stuck. So yeah, 100%. Like I learned good and bad examples of what I did and didn't want to bring. And then because I knew what I had no idea what I didn't know, but I knew that I didn't know a lot. It made me engrossed in learning how to do what I need to do, what I have to do, what my job entails better. So yeah, 100%. It gave me a discipline, you know, be at work on time, be in the right uniform, do the things you're supposed to do, the fundamentals, the stuff that should be easy. And then it gave me good and bad examples of, you know, this leader I really admire and I want to be just like this guy. This lady here, no, never going to do that, you know, or whatever the situation was. So absolutely 100%.
Awkward silence.
Yeah, I think you muted himself. Must be some stuff going on in the background.
No, I just wanted Drew was talking.
I appreciate that. Sorry, I got a little background noise going on.
No worries.
I'm glad you shared that with us. Now, and as we continue to move on through this interview, there are some things that through your time in home service doctors that you've learned, right? In now leading your organization. So we have business owners out there that are listening, and the whole point of this is for you not only to share your story, but to give some type of value to those that are out there right now through uncertainty that are looking to say, you know what, we need to adapt and overcome. We need to really just completely disattach from what we know business used to be like and create the new pattern or new operations manual on what we need to do to continue to thrive through this moment. So what are some of the key elements that you have learned over the last, I'd say 10 to 12 weeks that are going to prepare you to continue not only to survive, but to thrive in this market?
I guess one of the major things for me is that and this is going to sound like I read it off the side of a cereal box for motivational quotes. Anything that you experience in life, any situation that you find yourself in, whether it's COVID, whether it's Afghanistan, whether it's Iraq, you can choose to figure out ways to make it better and be positive about it and have a positive outcome and have a positive effect. Or you can choose to focus on the things about it that suck. Again, I don't know the better word. And your choices on those things say everything about you. The current situation is bad and people are scared. Consumer confidence is shaken. And things are tight and problems exist, and you've got to figure out how to overcome them. You can focus on all that. You can figure out, how life sucks and why, my business is just bound to fail because consumer confidence is shaken to its core. Or you can figure out ways, and that's one of the things we're trying to do in our own businesses, as a leadership team, is come together and figure out ways to and I hate to say it this way, but to springboard past those that are stuck in not being adaptable, because this is a moment that you absolutely have to adapt. You will adapt in this time frame or you will die. There is no question. So do it or don't do it. Those are really the only two options you have.
You remember that saying in the military, they said, lead, follow, or get out of the way.
Out of the way. Yeah. 1000%.
So, and the whole thing about it is right now is you got to be hungry and you got to be aware. And I guess what, Drew and Ty and I always say, we got to have a ear on the ground. We got to know where things are going. We have to be aware.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of folks out there that are idle, right? Just kind of wondering what they're going to do next rather than being proactive and really plugging into other people that are being successful.
Yeah.
Find out what those clues are so that they can move on.
Yeah.
So great stuff. Great stuff. All right. So Ty, I see you over there.
Oh, I was just wondering if it was time for rapid fire.
Oh no, not yet. I think we got time for one more question before we prepare the range for rapid fire. So,
well, if it's gonna be me,
yeah, it's you.
Am I the one that's supposed to do the last question?
Yeah.
Okay,
go ahead, man.
Randy.
Lay it on me, Tyler.
We often find that successful business owners like yourself have some sort of routine where they take care of themselves, whether that's working out, whatever that may be. So in order to be a good leader, we've found that good leaders often take care of themselves first and have a way of doing that. So what do you do to take care of yourself and make sure Randy is emotionally and physically ready to lead his organization?
Physically ready, I think I'm there. Emotionally, I'm still not sure about that, but that's a conversation for another day. Definitely I do. So this whole COVID thing, and my biggest frustration through it all, and this is probably completely selfish, and I'm sure people will shame me for it, but my biggest frustration in this whole situation is that my gym is closed, and it has been closed, and it will not open. And for about a month, maybe 6 weeks, I was religious push-ups and sit-ups and pull-ups and trying to keep with the body weight stuff and the calisthenics. But there's a point where, and it's my heart, it's something I got to work on in my own mind. Like the thrill of like working out and going to the gym is gone. And like I say, for a good 6 weeks, I stayed religious about it. I'm not so religious about it anymore. And I'm not okay with that, but that's my reality right now, because when I wake up in the morning, I get more into gear about, okay, today is new challenges, today is new struggles, let's solve those things. And generally speaking, I work out at the end of the day. By the time I spin my gears and do the things that I do here, and again, it's excuses, it's 100% excuses. I don't always get back to it when I get home now. Laziness, I could use a million excuses about how I'm so busy and so tired and so worn out. But, at the end of the day, I need to. So for the last ever how many years, up until about 3-4 weeks ago, 100% did my thing, worked out. So here's an interesting trivia fact. Since COVID happened and my gym closed, I have lost 23 pounds. It's hard to take that much muscle. And so you guys don't know, and I'm trying to make sure I stay down here. I've gone from about 272 to 250. So it sucks. It really does. But it's the climate we live in. And again, just like everything, I had to pivot. I had to try to work out from home, and I lost my mojo for that. So now I'm just sitting on the couch eating bonbons. That's basically what it is. That's my ritual now.
Outstanding. All right, so we're about to, what's going on with this microphone? All right, we're about to start our rapid fire session, and we got to prepare the range first. So we're ready on the left?
Ready.
Are we ready on the right?
Ready.
All right, so we may commence fire when the target appears. Drew, go right ahead.
All right, Randy, forgive me in advance.
Gotcha.
Here we go. Weirdest outfit you ever wore to a staff meeting?
You guys gave him that after I told you. There's no way he comes up with. I call BS. This is. There have been multiple times I have worn a dress because I lost a bet. There have been multiple times that I have had full wig and big balloons and you name it. That's why I had such a hard time, getting Eric a picture because most of them I'm a cornball. So weirdest, it would be hard for me to put a finger on, but I could give you hundreds.
It's quite a few.
Yeah. For me, it's not weird though. So I don't know how to answer that. A suit and tie may have been a better answer.
All right. Favorite place the Navy took you?
Oh my God. Wow. I feel like I need a rapid answer, but that one is deep. Guam was beautiful. Different places for different reasons. I guess for just scenery, tropical, Guam was an amazing place. For solitude, Diego Garcia. Never been there, don't go. Jesus Christ. Yeah, Guam, I'll go with Guam.
We'll accept that answer. Strangest thing you've pulled out of a toilet?
A whole hamster. The strangest part about it, no, I'm not kidding. So this happened, it was years ago. I go out and argue the toilet, which is a snake specially designed for toilets. I pull this hamster out, and the reason this was the weirdest one is the lady was standing in the doorway as I did the work, and I pull this hamster out, and like I've got a whole hamster. It's big, fluffy. Well, it wasn't fluffy; it was soaking wet. But and I was like, well, this is the problem. She looked at me, stone cold, looked at me dead in the face, and said, "How did that get there? Suicide? I don't really know."
Oh goodness.
I thought that only happened to Eric. Anyway, what?
Okay, I see. I hear you. Okay, go ahead.
What's your favorite quarantine meal?
I'm I'm still pretty strict on my diet. Cheese pizza.
Okay. What's the one snack food you've eaten the most that you wish?
Oh, donut sticks.
Donut sticks. I love those, by the way.
Oh my God, yes.
What's the last show you binge watched?
I don't really watch TV.
Nothing at all. Huh?
Discovery Channel. I'll watch anything nature. I'll watch the same nature show 15 times in a row.
I hear you. Okay. Favorite movie?
Shawshank. It's the greatest movie of all time. I mean,
absolutely. Get busy living or get busy dying.
Yeah.
What's the last book you read?
7 Habits.
Pro sport you miss the most?
Not a big pro sports fan. Hockey.
Hockey. Do you like football?
Yeah.
Okay. This is the last question, the most important of the day. What's your favorite football team?
So I have to tell you guys, I've watched several of these, so I would be ready. I know what the appropriate answer is.
And he doesn't care. No.
we want the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
So, and again, this is
maybe we can handle the truth.
Before I stopped watching professional sports, before I stopped watching pro football, I was a Redskins fan my entire life.
All right. That's a good thing. I'm not gonna terminate this interview right now. I was about to press the stop button on the Facebook Live. All right.
That's 2 out of like 30. Randy, awesome. Thank you so much for joining me with the rapid fire, bro.
Thank you.
All right, Randy. So before we go, we always let our audience know where they can find you. So please give us your information so they can go ahead and reach out to you if they need any of your services.
So I own and operate Home Service Doctors in Northern Virginia. It's homeservicedoctors.com, all common spelling. It's doctors because there's more than one of us. We're located in Northern Virginia. We serve the whole Northern Virginia market.
Outstanding. We appreciate you. So before we go, I want to thank you on behalf of Tyler Holloway from the Productivity United coaching program. We coach real estate agents all over the nation. Drew Sorsky, just part of a global property specialist network with the Elite Real Estate Group located here in DC. And Yours truly right here, Eric Quadros with MAPS Business Coaching. We coach businesses anywhere in the US and internationally. Thank you for being here with us, Randy, and we look forward to continuing to see your success.
Thank you.
Thanks, Randy.